Firstly, I always start off any interaction with any audience and every audience by asking myself the question, what's the highest value I can give to you? And if you start off every conversation, whether you're presenting or you're having a conversation or you're speaking to whether it's your clients, customers, or family, and you start off with that question, what's the highest value I can give to this person, this group, etc. Then what it does, it puts you in service mode, right? You stop thinking about yourself, you start thinking about helping that person, the audience that is in front of you, right? What is the highest value I could give to you today? Total transparency. The highest value add, from my perspective, and see if it makes sense to you, is to define, firstly, what is a fulfilled life? Because that's what we're all striving for, right? A fulfilled life. A fulfilled life would comprise, number one, doing well. Secondly, doing good for society. And a fulfilled life has to include making sure that I have good health. Can we conclude, from your perspective, living a fulfilled life would be the highest value I could give? And helping you to get there, right? By sharing the experience that I have? Because that's what it's all about, eh? Whatever you take from here, don't just hug it up. You propagate, be open. Put it on YouTube, be open. Because it is true, the more you give, the more you receive. It is true. In fact, this lady, Indra Nooyi, who has heard of Indra Nooyi? She was a former CEO of Pepsi Cola. Little Indian lady, right? Little Indian lady, immigrant to America. She was asked, how come you became the CEO of a male-dominant major corporation, Pepsi Cola? How come? She said, ever since I was a girl, I was always curious. Why someday we have clouds, other no clouds? Why some birds fly at some height, others fly at... I was just curious, right? So number one, I'm always a student. I'm a continuous student. So if we want to have continued trajectory that is compounding, we have to be prepared to put ourselves in situations that we have to learn. I'm out of my element. Therefore, I have to learn. Because I'm nervous, but I'm excited. And when you're nervous and excited at the same time, that's the antidote to being complacent. Secondly, everything I do, I approach it with my head, my heart, and my hands. Right? Everything I do, head, heart, hands. Easy to remember, right? And thirdly, I always try to uplift others, right? So that's what Indra Nooyi said. So about, actually 2 weeks ago, you know, I'm always thinking about how to make sure that success is long-term sustainable. I've codified a dogma so that I don't forget. And the dogma goes like this. Success begets complacency, begets failure. You become successful at anything. You say, man, I'm good. Right? You say become complacent. You stop doing the things that made you successful. You have just changed the formula. You change the formula, you're going to get a different result. I don't want a different result. So I've codified that dogma. Success begets complacency, begets failure. So because I don't want to be a failure, I always think about all the things I used to do when I was really bushy-tailed and bright-eyed, right? And hopefully today, I'm more bushy-tailed and bright-eyed than when I first started, right? All the things I've done. What time did I wake up? I'd get up early in the mornings, 5 o'clock. What do? You go to the gym, right? What do you do? When you came home, what do you eat for breakfast? Etc., etc. How did you feel? What were your aspirations then? What was your work ethic like? Your commitment, right? Your creativity, your passion. I learned early in life. I was on a scholarship to Canada doing civil engineer. I had to come back to work for 2 years, then I went back to Canada. Couldn't get a job as a civil engineer. So I got a job knocking on doors selling mutual funds to Canadians at 26. When someone said to me, Mike, I'll see you. And I would go to their home, middle of the winter, sit around the kitchen table. I'd say, what's the highest value added I can give to this person? And the answer kept coming back to me. Make them wealthy as an advisor. That's the highest value add. And everything I've done, even today, so that was when I first started. Today is no different. The sequel question was, is your formula that if you practice consistently, the only outcome is wealth? What's the formula? I'll help you. Make sure you understand them. Make sure you use other people's money prudently, and your attitude, for as long as you remain good business, you hold them. Yeah. Right? That was what I determined at 27. That was the code I needed to have cracked. What's the formula for an investor to create wealth? And that's it. Right? Today, if you Googled, nothing comes up. Google it. What's the formula to create wealth? Nothing comes up. I cracked it in 1978 because I simply asked the question, is there a formula? And I thought I now applied a process. And I'll tell you what the process is. The process is, I observe. You have to be observant. I create a hypothesis based on my observation. You understand? And thirdly, I test the hypothesis. This is everything I do, right? I observe, I create a hypothesis, I test the hypothesis. And if the hypothesis proves true, I codify. And then I hardwire. Hardwire so it becomes who I am. So that's my behavior.